Good morning, children. Today we are going to take up few questions on comprehension passages. So let's start with the first passage. And before we go to this first passage, let's see the direction that is given there. Usually the instructions will be given there. So read the passage carefully and choose the best answer to each question out of the 4 alternatives. So there is a passage, that's a short passage. Usually in the UPSC examination, you will come across a short passage. Stammering is a habit, disorder linked with lack of self-confidence. Basically, for a child to understand a language, there are 4 stages. The first is learning to understand the spoken language, and the second is speaking. Both of these usually develop around the age of 2. The third stage is speaking complex sentences, which develops at around 3, and the fourth is when the child recognizes the written alphabet. In 80% of children, while the third and the fourth stage are at play, the first two get disturbed because something new is being incorporated in the mind. This is absolutely normal. But what overcautious mothers do is fret a lot, and the child develops a fear which later manifests itself as stammering. In fact, most textbooks on stammering state in bold that had there not been any overcautious mothers, hardly anyone would have suffered from stammering. Fluency can be incorporated in the speech of such patients through hypnosis. Now let's take up the first question. Stammering is caused because of physical disorder, hindered growth, lack of self-confidence, lack of understanding. The second stage of a child's understanding the language is speaking, writing, listening, reading. Dash are basically the reason for developing a fear in the child's mind. Parents, overcautious mothers, fathers, uncles. Fluency in such patients can be incorporated in the speech of such patients through hypnosis, slap, punishment, symbiosis. By the time the child becomes 2 years old, he or she can speak complex sentences, only understand spoken language, understand and speak simple language, write the alphabets. Now let's take up the first question. Stammering is caused because of. Where do you find its answer here? Stammering is a habit disorder linked with lack of self-confidence. Is caused because of lack of self-confidence. So here the information is provided and very easily you can find out the answer for that. It's a disorder linked with the lack of self-confidence is caused. So here you have to think of that. Though it is not straightforward, it is implied information. The second stage of a child's understanding the language is. Now here you have to go to that and straightway you will find the answer there. The second stage of child's understanding. The second is speaking. So direct information you will find there. So very easy it is to find out. So what is the answer for the first one? Lack of self-confidence. What is the answer for the second one? Speaking. Because second stage, the second is speaking. From this, you will come to know that the answer is speaking. Let's go to the third one. Dash are basically the reason for developing a fear. But what overcautious mothers do is fret a lot. They are very much afraid. And basically the reason for developing a fear. As you go on reading it, you have to infer it's because of overcautious mother that they develop a fear. So in children's mind there will be a fear. Now fourth one. Fluency in such patients can be incorporated in the speech of such patients through. Last sentence you read, and here direct information is there. You will find very easily the answer for the fourth question. Hypnosis. By the time the child becomes 2 years old, he or she can. Now find out the answer for this. By the time the child becomes 2 years old. Now here, when the child becomes 2 years old, what happens? He understands and speaks simple language. So it is also very clear here. Both of these usually develop around the age of 2. But here you have to infer. So here we have followed information and inference. You can also follow elimination if it is required, if you are not able to infer. So let us go to the second passage. Once there lived an old man had a bag of gold. He was foolish. He dug a hole in the ground and put the bag of gold into the hole. Then he covered the hole with a stone. He used to visit the place nearly every day. He would take away the stone and put his fingers into the hole. Then he would touch the gold and feel very happy. One day, he took the stone away and put his fingers into the hole. How angry and sad he was when he discovered that his treasure was not there. The old man went to a friend and sadly told him the story. His friend said, "There is no reason for you to be sad. Your gold was useless to you. You still have the hole. You can visit it whenever you like. All you have to do is to imagine that your treasure is still there." So read the questions. See here, you can read the questions first, then read the passage later. Absolutely no problem. You have your own strategy in order to find the answers for these questions. The first passage was quite easy. In the second passage, the words are quite easy and it's in the form of a story. The old man hid the gold. Now here, it's inference or elimination. In a bank locker? No. In a secret chamber? We have to think over it. Underground? Again find out. Or in an unknown place. He dug a hole in the ground. So he dug a hole in the ground. That's inference. So here, underground. You infer that and then you'll come to the answer is C, underground. But not so easy, isn't it? The old man was pleased when he touched the gold. So answer is B here. The old man was pleased when he touched the gold. Let's go to eighth one. The old man visited the place where he had kept the gold hidden. Every day, once a week, almost every day, as often as possible. Find out its answer there in the passage. What is given there? He used to visit the place nearly every day. What does it mean? It means almost every day. It's quite clear in the passage. The friend's words possibly made the old man happy, angry, relieved, excited. You'll not find its answer here in the passage. So, what must be the answer here? So, you have to infer. So, what will be the answer here? Naturally, he must have felt relieved because of the words of the friend. He said, there is no reason for you to be sad. Your gold was useless. What was giving him the pleasure? Whenever he is to visit that place and touch there, then only he used to feel very happy. So that's why he said you can still visit that, and you have to just imagine that treasure is still there. So he must have felt very relieved. The friend told the old man that, what did he tell the old man? He had not lost anything. You have to keep on eliminating. And when you keep on eliminating, then you will get the answer that it is he had not lost anything. So the answer here is A. For sixth one, answer is C. For seventh one, answer is B. For eighth, answer is C. Ninth, it's a C. And 10th one, the answer is A. So let's go to the third passage. Now in the case of third passage, I want you to read silently. Then try to attempt the questions. So, shall we go to the third passage now? And afterwards we'll discuss the answers of the third passage. Those of us who already possess knives and use them as a matter of course at our meals can hardly understand the longing of an infant to be given the freedom of so perilous an instrument. Man has been defined as a tool using animal, and there is no another tool that appeals to the imagination so strongly as a knife. It is through long months and years a forbidden thing, and all the more fascinating on the count. There is no glory in using a spoon. There is no honor in holding a fork in the right hand and in taking up on it little squares of meat that have been cut with a knife by some more privileged hand. Fork and spoon are little more than an extension of the fingers and a spoon. At least is so safe that it can be left in the hands of an infant in the cradle. But a knife is a danger against which constant warning is necessary, something out of which rich and waiting as a prize at the end of a long avenue of years. This passage is not as easy as you think. Now the difficulty level of this passage is a little bit more as compared to earlier passages. So at first we'll read the questions, try to write the answers for these questions. The privileged hand in this passage refers to the spoon, expert hand, the adults, the children. To the child, there is no glory in handling a spoon because the child does not find the spoon attractive. For the child, it is nothing but the extension of fingers. It is an extremely safe instrument. It is not as exciting as fork. Adults cannot understand why a child finds knives so attractive because they use knives routinely at the dining table, have forgotten their childhood's experiences, use the knife to cut tough vegetables, wield power at the time of meals. The child longs to be a tool using animal, desires the freedom to use the perilous instrument, wants to use the knife because he wants to become a soldier, dreams of crime and adventure. The knife fascinates the child all the more because it is out of his reach, a precious prize, a strong weapon to defend oneself with, a very attractive toy. So you take 1 more minute and try to answer the questions of this passage. So shall we go to the first question now? The privileged hand in this passage refers to. Now the privileged hand, what does it refer to? Now when you are trying to find out its answer, you must be getting confused. The spoon? No, you eliminate that. Now just think of the sentence there. There is no honor in holding a fork in the right hand and in taking up on it little squares of meat that have been cut with a knife by some more privileged hand. So here there is no glory in using a spoon. There is no honor in holding a fork or in taking up on it little squares of meat that have been cut with a knife. So it has been cut by somebody who is having expert hand. Somebody who is expert by some more privileged hand. So here the answer will be expert hand. So answer is B. To the child there is no glory in handling a spoon because. Now here there is no glory in using a spoon. So here why there is no glory in handling a spoon? Because the child doesn't find the spoon attractive. Is it that? Just think over that. What must be the answer? There is no glory because it's extremely safe instrument. Nobody will stop him from using the spoon. If he handles the spoon, if he has the spoon, absolutely no problem. Nobody will stop him. They will keep that spoon in his hand only. But if it's a knife, they will try to fetch that knife, they will try to take away that knife from the child because he may harm him. Adults cannot understand why a child finds knives so attractive because. Now adults can't understand. Those of us who already possess knives and use them as a matter of course at our meals can hardly understand the longing of an infant, desire of an infant. So adults can't understand why a child finds knives so attractive. Now think over it. See here you have to infer, you have to eliminate, then only you'll be able to give answers for that. And what is the answer for this? Now here, this child finds that the knives are routinely used at the dining table. You have forgotten their childhood experience, you have to eliminate that. Use the knife to cut tough vegetables. No, it's not the case there. And willpower at the time of meals, probably you'll be confused with that. A and D. And the right answer here is A, because they are routinely used at the dining table, and that's why the child will be attracted, and the child is always forbidden to use the knife. So that's why he will be attracted very much by the knives and not by the spoon. The child, now here, longs to be a tool using animal. So what is the answer here? Desires the freedom to use the perilous instrument. Yes. Now what is a perilous instrument? What is a very dangerous instrument here? It's a knife. And he has a desire. He longs. Longing. What does longing mean? Longing means desire. So the child has a desire to use the perilous instrument. So he has got a great desire to use the perilous instrument. So here information is clear, but it's implied information. To be given the freedom of so perilous an instrument. And which is that perilous instrument? That's a knife. The knife fascinates the child all the more because it is. Why it fascinates? Why the child is so much attracted by the knife? Because it's a precious prize. You eliminate that. No, it cannot be precious prize. A strong weapon to defend oneself. No, here no defense at all. So you eliminate that. A very attractive toy. That also you eliminate. So using the formula of elimination, you'll come to know that the answer is A out of his reach. So the child is always forbidden, and that is the reason why the child is very much attracted towards the knife. So today we'll close with this passage number 3. And what is the formula we have used here? We have used the formula of information, elimination, and inference. Use that formula and you'll be able to find the answers for these passages very easily. It is very scoring if you follow a particular formula. And if you get confused, definitely you'll lose marks in this particular exercise.